Okay, so you can hear the typing in the background. I'm just prepping if anyone's here already, letting the guys know that it's okay to start the game as they're actually watching. The game being L5R World Cup 2020, and I'm very pleased to bring you Canada, my very own country, versus Switzerland. We have Canada playing Unicorn, Draz piloting that, and Nuggetz playing Crab. Deck lists I'll try to pop out when there's a little bit of a break in the game and show them. I don't want to miss any of the action here at the beginning. And oh wow, this thing's heavily unzoomed here. Let's I don't know when it got so unzoomed, but let's just zoom in a little bit here. Maybe it'll come out in a second. Anyway, playing. I'll show the deck list in a second. We have Scorpion Splash for Draz on Unicorn, for GDix and calling in favors just to enable ensuring that those big events that the Unicorn has go through. And Crab is playing a variant of City in the Clouds, which, for those who don't know, is using the wall holdings and leaning heavily on Hita Guardian for lots and lots of strength for breaks later in the game. Basically, hold the line. It's a very pure crab philosophy deck, but surprisingly powerful actually. And that is on, I believe, Lion Splash. Traditionally, well, no, sorry, Phoenix. This is Phoenix Splash traditionally, and this one's on Phoenix Splash for Tadaka, and then the O2 conflict character, two political conflict character, and they're just doing their mulligans. We see Nuggetz mulligans 1, so he must have something he really likes. Unicorn mulligans 2, 2 from the conflict deck from Nuggetz. So again, his opening draw seems to be pretty decent. Let's see what he's keeping. Is he keeping like a doubtful Iron Mines? That's open deck list. There's not a lot of assassinations floating around. Might be. Let's see, what does he keep? He keeps CUNY Lab, always good. Yep. And Funeral Pyre. Yeah, that is a good. I can judge Crab flops a lot better than I can judge Unicorn flops. So, but Funeral Pyre with Quartermaster is excellent. 2 fate in a card for a 1 fate investment. Iron Mine, it's okay. Certainly, this Hita Guardian is already really scary. A City of the Rich Fog plus 2 Butcher of the Fallen Rally. So we got 5 cards piled on the City of the Rich Frog. Unicorn's gonna be looking to break that pretty quick. But the Hita Guardian will be giving an 8/8 pump if it comes out on the board. We see Shinjo Gunjo. Oh, Shinjo Gunjo pulls Yasamiro. That's really good. Seeing how that Hita Guardian can be coverted and then taken out of defense. That was a really good pull by that Gunzo. Yeah, we see a Watchtower, a Keeper, which is good for Switzerland, and to have that hit the bin already. Wall pieces often do in this deck, so you can either rebuild them or just let it go. There's all the wall pieces, I believe, in this one, including the +2 adjacent wall. Northern Wall, I think. Northern Wall Watchtower or something. We see a lot of Team Canada here and a lot of Team Switzerland supporting their team, which is always really nice to see. I think I don't know if there's any viewers. Let me know in the chat. I'm not seeing my current viewers, just total views. Might be talking to myself, but that's all right. More than happy to ramble on about Team Canada game. Okay, so he pitches everything off the Kauden Hita activation. Doesn't buy anything, so we're over to Unicorn for its buy. Moda Youth wouldn't be bad. He might be also contemplating the passing fate just to store up a lot of fate for next turn for those cavalry reserves and etc. And he has the encampment, which is he's not sending up for super strong characters, but Yasamir is covert, so getting him for a second military is pretty good. Oh, Butcher the Fallen with no fate. Interesting. Maybe as a rebuild in hand already. I mean, the Iron Mine becomes a pretty juicy target, but a 6 strength Butcher, which can't be blocked by by any of these characters, pretty strong. So maybe he's thinking, oh, he's Keeper of Air. I'm used to Keeper of Water, but Keeper of Air. So you have to go Air to get this Keeper out. It's a 7 strength actually. But Water to Ball the Yasamiro would be pretty solid. Then he allows his Hita Guardian to defend. So the Tetsuko is bought for Unicorn. Always a super strong character. I think one of the strongest Unicorn characters for sure, if not the strongest. I would vote it. Just it's subtle how the effect it has on well, not so subtle, but oh, hits Feast or Famine. Oh, very nice hit for Crab. Unfortunate in this situation. I mean, it's a very unique situation to have a 4-coster with no fate. So Feast or Famine and the Shitomi encampment go down. Not much Canada can do about that, given nobody could block. So a conflict character and a ton of other cards might have prevented that, but definitely not worth it for Unicorn. So so those two go down without repercussion from it is a fate. It is secret fate for Canada and Unicorn. So that's something. So you see just the Gunzo heading in on political. Okay, draw a defender, which is smart, really smart on Draz's, because this way the Heated Guardian won't have anyone to defend with. So either you let this go unopposed, or the Guardian won't have somebody to pump unless there's a conflict character um, for the military conflict. So it's a nice move on Draz's part. 4 viewers. Oh, thank you, Shooter Rev. That's good. I'm happy with that, given that there's other games going on, plus a lot of games in general. All day, watch as much World Cup as you can. Canoe Lab is giving... okay, we see a court game to dishonor the Gunzo. I can see it. Maybe he's expecting a captive reserve or something. I mean, he was winning to begin with. Maybe trying to put some dishonor pressure onto Unicorn here. Draws a card with Fertile Fields already. So, I mean, barring a captive audience, I don't see, any way that Unicorn's going to win this. So, we'll see what Switzerland and Nuggetz has in store for this Heated Guardian, or if the Heated Guardian is just going to be doing his rare solo act. Yep, get 2 fate and a card. Ooh, there we go. So the Funeral Pyre is not used. It's a common cause, which is even stronger in this case. So the Hida Guardian now has a Butcher of the Fallen as his defense buddy here, which is some hefty amount of stats. I mean, that's insane on this military attack. Let's see what Draz can come up with to deal with this. I mean, I pass conflict, of course. That makes sense. So, Tetsuko, I guess, can grab something, but he's going to have to go over the top of 18 military here. I don't think even Tetsuko can pull that off. But there are some. You can attack Frog, you can attack Fertile Fields with no... So it's really a matter, I think, for Draz of whether he wants to take any ring. And the ring not to have a fate on it next turn. So Draz opts to pass as well, which doesn't even affect favor, unfortunately. So imagine we're going to see this Butcher saved, although funnily enough, the Heated Guardian is not a bad choice either, given this amount of holdings we're dealing with here. But you can Funeral Pyre, you can Funeral Pyre either one of them. And, okay, so there's no Funeral Pyre used. I wonder, Iron Mine prevents the Heated Guardian from leaving play. You're not going to see that every day, folks, where a 1-coster is saved or a 6-coster. Did I miss the Funeral Pyre usage? I think that was a bit of a miss by Nuggetz, who's an excellent crab player. Maybe I missed it. Maybe someone in chat can tell me where the Funeral Pyre was used on the Butcher or not, or in someone else that I missed somehow. Yeah, I had the pleasure of playing Nuggetz at Worlds, the Worlds event. This year, actually, a side event, and he's a really fun guy, really nice guy, and famous for wearing the crab hat. You guys may have remember seeing that on stream. I think it was Paris Kotai, or one of the European Kotais, where he wore his fabulous crab hat. Okay, so we see the flop. So 2 Kaio Envoys, backed up by Kuni Labs. That's pretty good. We see Draz get another Shitomi encampment, and he's going first. That's solid, because you'll have at least 6 on board attacking with Milla and Tetsuko. We still have a 6+6+6 Heated Guardian, which is significant. True Seeker pops up, because I believe Draz has 4 Shames. Sorry, I didn't pop to the deck list. It is an interesting deck list, for sure, on both sides. So I will try to get to that if there's a pause. Yeah, I believe that Draz has 4 Shames, so the True Seeker kind of does double duty to get him more cards and to activate those 4 Shames. Oh, and the 4 G-Dicks. I don't know if he has 4 Shames, to tell you the truth. Actually, he needs it for the 4 G-Dicks to force through the Cav Reserves, or attempt to force through the Cav Reserves. Crab will obviously have a very strong defend your honor possibility, given that they can pump, pump an extra 7, make a Kaio Envoy like 8-6 or so, 8-7. We see a Nuggetz drawing 4 and Draz drawing 5, so he's continuing to apply that sort of like incremental honor pressure, or maybe he's worried about his own Kuni Labs, draining away a lot of honor or prepping for when he has multiples. Let's see, Tetsuko is blanked by the student by a Kaio Envoy. That's certainly what was going to happen. That's not unexpected, but it's unfortunate for Draz, one of his the strongest character on the board. It is now just a 3-1. We see a calling in favors on the Watch Commander. Solid, solid. And we see a 6 strength military attack head into City of the Rich Frog, which currently has a wall piece on it. Not everyone's familiar with the wall pieces. So this is one of the stronger wall pieces in my opinion. River of the Last Stand. So the opponent's going to have to discard 2 random cards and then they get to draw 1. So it's a choice for them, which isn't as bad as, of course. Oh, no, sorry. It isn't a choice. This isn't the choice one. So they have to discard 2 random cards and draw 1. So they lose 1 random card. So it's a really strong wall piece here. That's why it's +0 strength. And it activates, of course, on any wall piece. So it doesn't have to be the attack province. Let's see how Crab opts to defend this. So obviously the Crab deck is highly defensive, and the Unicorn decks are generally highly offensive. I mean, anyone in chat have any insight into how this matchup goes? When I've played it before, I haven't played a lot of this, extra defensive Crab style deck. It's been, I would have thought it's Crab flavors when I just look at it on paper, but Unicorn is so explosive. If you just don't get the pieces, they can just roll right over you. And I think if you get a lot of province breaks here, and can't have you keep your wall pieces around or your Kuni Labs, it can get pretty tough for Crab here. But Crab definitely has the military in their clan to handle the strong Unicorn assaults. Okay, so Key to Guardian's activated, so we get a full defense by Crab. So I wonder if they have Tessens or Kamikazes to stand a character here. We see Tetsugu so we see some investment here by Unicorn. They must think they can win this conflict. And certainly a break here would be really nice. So Kaio Envoy gets the Bonsai, showing the strength of student anatomies here, being able to turn off this Tetsuko, as this would all be prohibitively costly. Now it's just draining a little bit of honor from the... so he bonsai'd the... So it must be... Okay, so there's 2 swords on it. So I would imagine the bonsai went down even though he was winning because of the possibility of a Defend Your Honor. He wants to play a Defend Your Honor without having to bid too high. So now we have 12-7 between these 2 characters. Watch Commander's on both sides, so this conflict is going to sort of fizzle out. It's had some big spectacular beginnings, but I don't know how much farther it's going to go here. I mean, we have Unicorn at 8 and Crab at 7, so not like danger zone honors, but you don't want to be draining too much here. Of course, this is important for Unicorn. I mean, they want breaks. They definitely have a style of deck that they want to get ahead on breaks and just finish the game relatively early. Otherwise, Crab's sort of general economic advantage will take over. Plus, they have a Shi and Tony encampment online, and they want to use their stronghold. So this is a big one. Let's see what Canada can do. Nope, just too much defense here. So I think key at the end of this turn, again, it's kind of funny to say, because we're talking about a 1-drop, but that's the heart of this deck, is does he have a rebuild for the Iron Mine to save this Heated Guardian, or can he flip another Heated Guardian? I guess it's always a possibility too. There's 2 more in the deck out of only 22 cards, so not a high chance, but it definitely wouldn't be that surprising. So we see the Student of Anatomies get turned into a Tadaka, definitely a strong play. So that was the stand I didn't think of. Yeah. So yeah, he can strip out maybe a key card for Unicorn, and they can roll in. I would guess political. If I was him, I would go political, because you don't want to give Unicorn a chance to defensive cavalry reserve and win this conflict. and then stand up somebody and take another mill, etc. So that would be my guess. Oh, he passes his conflict opportunity. Okay, so he's gonna let Draz take the shot. I guess Crab is assuming, and in general that would be true, that they have the long-term advantage here. I'm not sure. I mean, Unicorn's got a pretty good bank of fate. They haven't used a lot of cards, so we'll see if that's true. Or it could just be, oh, Tessin. Okay, so we get Guardian gets a Tessin. Okay. Now the Guardian's already been used, so but I guess it is a 2/2. And invest. Okay, so plays Nuggetz pass. Oh, and Draz passed his conflict to opportunity too, so he didn't want to bother sending the Truth Seeker into Daka. Doesn't bother to block. Gets endless planes, of course, endless planes. So that Tessin was really, I mean, obviously open deckless. That Tessin was quite timely. Could have lost such a Daka there, but the Tessin was a good investment. So the Guardian's gone, so we don't have to. So the question of whether there's a rebuild for the Iron Mind is kind of moot at this point. But with Tadaka there, Tadaka chucks a whole bunch of characters, gets to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Oh, it says 7. Thankfully, the log just tells me. So more than half the Unicorn hands. Let's see what he chucks. He saw Wayfinder, he saw Cav Reserves, Bonsai, Spoils of War, Never Yield, Forged Edict, Join the Fray. So he chucks the Cav Reserves. I think that would be a sort of snap chuck for a lot of people. I think being the strongest card in there. I mean, Crab doesn't have a lot of big events they want to play, so the Forged Edict is less of a problem outside of stopping Defend Your Honors. But we have a 2-break lead for Unicorn now. Oh, 2 keepers. I missed the second keeper on the activation, so now we have 2 keepers backed up by Kuni Labs, so 2/2s next turn. Okay. Unicorn does have a 2-card advantage and so he puts down the Itchy Wayfinder to look at a province. I presume to stop the Way of the Crab, if there is one coming, because there's no other attack left for Draz, and that's a 0 glory character, so he doesn't want to lose his Watch Commander Youth or his, so it's worth the extra 1 fate investment here. And he gets to look at a province, so it's not too bad. He sees where Shameful is. Okay, so we go into the next round. Board-wise, fairly even when you factor in the Kuni Lab and all the different holdings there that are going to be used for advantage. Slight card advantage. No, not a card advantage after the Tadaka and the Kaiju Envoy triggers. See Yasimura come in, very strong 2-coster. Another Butcher, which means which means nobody can block this Butcher attack. So it's a pretty guaranteed 3rd break here. Barring, I guess, another Cav Reserves on defense might stop it. Might stop the 7-strength Butcher. But Unicorn using Cav Reserves on defense is definitely not their first choice. We see Waitress Station Trader, which is something you often see in definitely see in Shiro Shinjo decks, because it gets to take a fate from revealing provinces, which is what they want to do, but it is a courtier again, so it enables the Forged Edict. Nuggetz is first to pass, and we see Nuggetz put on even more dishonor pressure as he saps away 2 more honor. So the Watch Commanders are still in play. And Crab being Crab, there's a decent chance Tadaka will not be leaving this turn. I believe there's 1 more calling in favors in the Unicorn deck. Sorry, I keep promising to look at the deck list, but it's such an exciting game. It's moving fairly briskly. Still tons of time on the clocks. Kuni Lab costs an honor. Yeah, that's something I like to do as Crab 2, is I will keep Kuni Labs and then expect them more to pop up, and to me they're worth a card at least. So if you underbid by 1 or 2 to keep your Kuni Labs around and keep yourself out of danger, because Kunihita will surprisingly empty your dynasty and cost you that 5 in any game that goes like longer than 5 turns. So keeping that up, but being able to keep your Kuni Labs, I think is a worthwhile trade-off. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like kind of the jerk feeling of my opponent paying for my Kuni Labs, paying for my +1/+1s on all my characters. Yeah, and Frog still standing with two different holdings here. And it might remain because the Kuni Lab going down is a pretty juicy target. Oh, the Iron Mine is already up. I mean, so unless that's broken. So there's other provinces that are definitely tempting targets, but and there's a third keeper. Oof. Three keepers is pretty oppressive in turn 3. Well, it'll be turn 4 when all three start popping up, but you can Funeral Pyre, a keeper, if you attack air, etc. Okay, we see Butcher take along a helper. I guess this signals probably student anatomies is going to be used on itself, maybe. Um, Interesting student anatomies comes in because he's stronger on political, so you would think you'd want to take a keeper almost. Goes into Kanzordu, which is a good hit on a military attack. Cav reserves is played. We see Shono and Moto Youth come in, which is not enough on the face. Okay, Nuggetz has a second Bonsai to take this Butcher, the Fallen, up to 11. And they obviously couldn't have Defend Your Honored on the first Cav reserves. That's why there was no Defender. And but you can certainly Defend Your Honor any other important event here. So taking him up to 14. So it's 14 to 7. To stop the break, so Shono represents 2 more, so it's 9. So he's going to need to find even 2 more skill beyond that. I would agree, Hida, Havoc, that attacking with a keeper, because it's 1 less political, and then he can use that to sack both keepers even maybe, because he can Funeral Pyre later. But I'm not 100% sure that Funeral Pyre has been used at all. There's been other sack outlets maybe once. But yeah, I'm sure Nuggetz has a reason for the student enemies being here. Maybe it's sacking itself. I don't know. So Kanzordu goes down. It's just too much of a hill to climb there. Shono gets usually I see here honored from a reply, which gets dishonored. So we have 2 dishonored characters leaving play at the end of this turn. So and the water takes down the 7 strength Tetsuko. So I'll admit I'm biased and I'm cheering for Canada here. Not as strong as I normally would because I am a crap player. But and as I mentioned, when I met Nuggetz, he's nothing but a nice guy. But it is looking not so great for Unicorn here, being down this many breaks and being under honor pressure with a Watch Commander has a good chance of sticking around. So we see the Waystation Trader go in. Yep, flips the province. Midnight Revels and Open Deck lists, he knew that, or unless it was on the box, which is highly doubtful with Kuni Labs being, Kuni Wasteland being a province. So that's a safe province to attack. Steals a Fate from Crab, and Shinjo ambushed. Who did he? Oh, the ambusher got Yasumira got blanked. Okay, right, because Tetsuka was bowed, so there was really not that many other valuable targets. We've seen 8 strength defense by Tadaka. This Nuggetz is determined every province must stand. Even though Rebels we're attacking on fire, I guess that's a dangerous-ish ring, but Rebels I think will be dead or blank for a while here. But stopping that activation, sorry, that was a political attack? Oh, they're all military. Yeah, that's why. So holding off the box activation of HMT, which has not activated yet, I don't think, in 3 turns, which is fairly rare. Clan before country. Yeah, I know. You can tell the other crabbies, and I might get disowned, but I think I got disowned and appropriately punished when I played Crane at Worlds anyway, and just did horribly. So I learned my lesson there about clan importance. Okay, we see Common Cause, a second Common Cause in the game. We see an Edict on the cats, but unfortunately there's a third Common Cause on the other Keeper Initiate. Oh no. So all 3 Keeper Initiates could come back. Thankfully, not for, well, they could come back for the defense. So, and it's Konzardu as well. Oh my, that Konzardu was way worse than I thought because the Butcher stood up now and nobody can block this. That was a really good turn of events. I don't know. would you have activated in that case? I wonder. I mean, I think it's very natural for Crab to activate. But Butcher, yeah, Butcher coming in twice. Oh, it doesn't affect non-stronghold provinces. Okay, now I get it. Yeah, sorry, it's not. Yeah, it's not. Oh, hang on, wait a second. When while those characters attacking, characters X is the number of. Oh, the ambusher was dropped. Sorry, as a conflict character, yeah, it does affect stronghold provinces. So yeah, took out all the defenders from possible on this pilgrimage. Currently breaking, thanks to the 2 strength skirmisher. Yeah, Butcher the Fallen, I gotta say, is not. It's definitely not. I don't know. Oh, and then we have the break. The Butcher just butchered. So that was a really tough, I think, tough thing to face for Draz in Canada. I think he definitely played it well and took the outs that he could. Unfortunately, the kamikazes and various stands to keep that Butcher and various other things, strong characters, Heated Guardians, the test in there, really kind of swung it there. Nuggetz, everyone, it's a general thing to apologize about Butcher. Um, yeah, the 3 kamikazes was really tough too. If the third one hadn't gone through, I mean, we'd be taking the game definitely a little longer and get Unicorn a bit more of a chance. But okay, so Canada is now down 2-1. I invite everyone and tell your friends that we have another Canada game coming up at 3:45. We'll be playing. It'll be Phoenix versus. Let me just flip over there. So it's 2 games for Switzerland, 1 game for Canada. But we've been down before Canada and come back, so not worried at all. Scorpion. So we have a Phoenix Scorpion, which is always a very tactical matchup, very interesting matchup. So we have that coming at 3:45. Oh, sorry. I guess not everyone is in Eastern Daylight Saving Times like me, so we have it coming up in about 45 minutes. Okay, thanks everyone for watching, and hope to see you guys later. Watch all the games you can. Yeah, Miyamoto's. I like that idea. I think Miyamoto's. The problem is Miyamoto's gives these like really defensive decks, like the Phoenix Pass deck and stuff like that, a bump, which I don't want to see in the game. But yeah, I agree. Something to stop it other than just dropping conflict characters would definitely be nice. Yeah, just sure. I think I agree with you there. That either you have to do something about Butcher, although not that Crab is tearing up the meta right now. I wouldn't even put them as the strongest deck personally. They're definitely up there. Don't get me wrong. I know L5R is all about pretending your clan is not strong. That's a very it's a big tradition in L5R. But I don't think Crab is like top deck by any means. But it's definitely up there. Yeah, and but Butcher is too far above the curve. So if it could get modified somehow, or the meta could take care of it some way, I think that would be a good plan. Especially when you still throw in stuff like Crisis Breaker, being able to bring it into conflicts and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. Okay, anyway, I'm going to sign off, go do a few other things before I come back and cast the other Canada game. Bye, everyone.